this channel where we spread love and positive vibes. And I want to start the video by thanking our new subscribers and our returning subscribers. We don't take you for granted. We thank you so much. Without further ado, let me go to the content for the day. Today I want us to look at Jamaica as a beneficiary of Grenada oil. Grenada is a small country in the Caribbean whose oil was discovered just recently. And it's like all the Caribbean countries, they have oil reservoirs. Because I understand Trinidad and Tobago, they have oil reservoirs. Jamaica, oil was discovered the other day, and now Grenada. And in the oil that was discovered in Grenada, Jamaica is taking a very big role in extraction of that oil, refining it, marketing it, and all that. And therefore, we can see Grenada has actually honored Jamaica by making them to participate in the mining or extracting and refining of the oil and even the marketing of this oil. Grenada, just like I had said, is just a small island in the Caribbean. And the oil that has been discovered has reached the commercial rate. Because for the oil to be refined or to be extracted, it has to reach a given level, the commercial level. Because extraction of oil is not something simple. And that is why we find, even when oil is discovered, in most of the countries here in Africa and even in the Caribbean, it does not benefit the locals. Because there are those people that come in the name of extracting the oil, refining it, and marketing it, and they come to really exploit the people of that country, and they really benefit from that oil. It is very clear when we see what is happening in Burkina Faso and Mali. When the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, refused their oil to be actually mined or rather extracted and refined by a certain group of people, and he refused the funding of a given group of people, and he refused the interference of a given group of people to his country, he was actually attacked a lot. Even right now, Ibrahim Traoré is not at peace because he has refused foreign interference in his country. So Africa and the Caribbeans should actually be very independent countries because of what has been discovered. Like here in Kenya, there was oil that was discovered in Turkana. Even up to now, we don't know who benefits from that oil. Because of course, Kenyans buy petroleum and all the products of oil at a very high cost. And therefore, when oil was discovered in Grenada, Grenada did something that is very rare to be done by the African countries and even the Caribbeans. The Grenada people, or rather the Grenada government, after the oil was discovered, they actually refused any interference by every country that was a colonizer. In other words, they refused their oil to be touched by all the countries that had colonized us or had made us slaves of themselves. They completely refused. And in their refining, extraction, and marketing of oil, they actually involved Jamaica Oil Refinery, a company in Jamaica, to assist in the production of oil, marketing, and refining. And I want to mention most of the companies that are involved in the extraction, refining, and marketing of oil in Grenada will surprise us and will make us be so proud of Grenada. Grenada stands out from all the countries on earth because of saying no to the countries that had actually made us slaves, that had contributed to actually making people slaves during those days. And therefore, Grenada, when the oil was discovered, and it was actually discovered by a company known as the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas Company. You will be shocked by the owners of this company. The company Ocean Gate Oil and Gas is from Nigeria, and it is actually owned by somebody known as, is it Go? What is the name of that man? He's a well-known man, and he has several oil refining companies. Go? That famous rich man in Nigeria. I will tell you his name when I remember. So, he owns the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas, and it is actually the company that discovered oil in Grenada. This company, the work of this company, is actually to be able to identify the oil reserves and whether the oil has reached the commercial rate or the commercial level, so that it can start to be mined. Because unless the oil has reached the commercial level, it cannot be refined. And therefore, the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas is the company that discovered that the oil in Grenada has actually reached the commercial level and it can be extracted. This company also involved another company, which is actually an Australian company called Global Petroleum Limited. Global Petroleum Limited is a company from Australia. And it is so important to learn that Australia was not involved in colonizing any people in the black countries. So when Grenada were looking for the people to actually extract, refine, and market their oil, they were looking at people who cannot exploit them, who cannot take advantage of them, who cannot just enter their oil reservoirs and benefit themselves without caring whether the common man in Grenada has benefited from the discovery of oil in their nation. Just like I have told you, there are so many countries that have discovered oil, but it has not benefited them because of the people that come to extract, refine, and market, and actually transport. And therefore, Grenada called this company from Nigeria the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas, so that it can be able to determine whether their oil reservoirs has reached the commercial level. And when they concluded that the oil has reached the capacity to refine, then they involved Jamaica, because Jamaica has been actually doing the work of refining the oil for other countries in the Caribbean. I was actually reading that at one time, Jamaica formed a company that was actually assisting Venezuela to actually refine their oil, and Jamaica was supposed to be paid 50%, while Venezuela was getting 50%. And therefore, Jamaica has, having been involved by other Caribbean countries in their extraction, refining, marketing, and transportation of oil, they were engaged in actually producing or extracting the oil in Grenada. And this is a very important gesture to Jamaican people and the Jamaican government, because for you to be recognized by a country that is neighboring you, that is a very big gesture. And therefore, Jamaica was to be involved in the extraction, refining, marketing, and transportation of oil, together with Ocean Gate Oil and Gas, and also Global Petroleum Limited, which is, like I have said, an Australian country. The Ocean Gate and Oil and Gas is a company that has got the expertise to be able to actually determine whether the reservoirs of oil have reached the commercial level. And after they determined that, the Global Petroleum Group company was to get in and assist in the extraction of oil, refining of oil, transportation of oil, and then marketing the oil. This company, like I had said, is owned by an actually it is an Australian company, and we can see clearly Australia was not involved in making people slaves in those days, and therefore Grenada government was very, very keen to determine who is going to actually extract the oil, market, transport, and actually refine. This is because most of the countries that have been involved in the extraction, refining, marketing, and transportation of oil are those countries that were actually involved in making people their slaves. And I want to say, and I'm sorry to say so, that these companies, because they have come from the former colonial masters, they come with a colonial mentality. They are not coming to assist the countries where oil has been discovered. They are actually coming to exploit, to steal, to take from those countries. And therefore, for Grenada to agree that they are not going to actually involve these countries and involve Nigeria company and an Australian company, it was a plus to the Grenada government. They were the companies that were actually engaged, the Global Petroleum Group and the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas. They were supposed to extract the oil, refine the oil, and market the oil, and even transport it, so that Grenada gets benefits from the oils discovered in their own country. This is something so profound. It is something that I found all of us should actually take an example of Grenada and be able to be independent. They are very, very principled in making a decision and refusing to be exploited, refusing to be used, and saying that we are going to engage the Global Petroleum Group and the Ocean Gate Oil and Gas Company so that they can assist us to extract, transport, market, and refine the oil. And this is a very, very good lesson for all of us to learn. You can see what has been happening in Africa. Many people discover oil, like I had said earlier, but they don't benefit from that oil. It is actually refined, extracted, and it is actually benefits people outside that country. So it's a great lesson to learn from the people of Grenada and the government of Grenada. The Global Petroleum Group will be marketing the oil for Grenada and put it in their reserves. So they will be extracting the oil, put it in their reserves, transport it to India and put it in their reserves, and then sell to every country that needs to be sold for oil, including those countries that had actually enslaved the black people. And it seems that after the oil is refined, these countries will buy it at a higher cost. And this is a plus to the people of Grenada because it is going to create employment, it's going to uplift the economy, it's going to benefit the person who is down there in the society in Grenada. I found this very, very good and a lesson to learn. So they are supposed to actually do all that and then give to Grenada their share of the money that the oil brings. Like I had said earlier, Jamaica had been involved in the refining of oil by several Caribbean countries. And I had mentioned that Jamaica had formed a company that was actually supposed to take the oil from Venezuela and actually do the refining and market the oil and sell, and therefore there was an agreement on how they were going to share. So Grenada has become independent financially, and creation of jobs, reduction of poverty, uplifting of education and infrastructure, and this is a great plus to the people of Grenada. The Jamaica as a nation has also benefited because they are part of the extraction of this oil, transportation, marketing and refining. Global Petroleum Oil is actually doing great work because it is the company that does extraction of oil in Africa. Most of the African countries that have got oil, they engage the Global Petroleum Limited so that they can extract the oil, market it, refine it, and give them their share, and that is a very, very good deal. So I want to congratulate both Jamaica and Grenada for our job well done and for standing by their principles so that the locals can benefit from the extraction and the discovery of oil. The other part of the video, I wanted to talk about the Mwango. The other day, I was feeling so happy and at the same time very emotional to see the Mwango visiting the Maroon community. The Maroon community is a community that was born out of slavery, out of oppression, out of the hardships, out of all the things they faced at the hand of the colonial masters. Nani, the Maroon, and all the Maroon people ran away from their colonial masters and ran to the forest. They stayed in the forest and fought gorilla to the colonial masters until a treaty was signed to end slavery. After that, there are people who identified with the Maroon and Nani, and they kept on staying in the forest and making the forest, or rather the tropical regions, their homes. And therefore they stay in a communal way whereby they carry out their traditions and culture in those communities. So when I saw the Mwango visiting one of the Maroon community and being shown some horns that are used to play music, and being shown some drums that are used to play music, and being shown some of the cultural activities that the Maroon engage, it was tears to me because it reminded me where the Maroon people came from. They came from Africa, they were actually given very tough life by the colonial masters, and they suffered a lot. And for these survivors to continue with the traditions of the Maroon people and to continue with the way of life of the Maroon people, it's a great lesson to us, to tell us that all is not lost even when we have reached our end. So when I saw the Mwango visiting the Maroon people and actually interacting with some of the Maroon people, it was tears of joy to me to see that an Africa has remembered to go to a people that once belonged to us, that once fought with a common goal to save others from slavery. They sacrificed even their lives to make sure that they freed their own from slavery. It is a lesson for us all to learn. The people of Jamaica, you should often visit the Maroon community and tell them how great they fought the colonizers and how firm they stood to say no to oppression, to say no to injustice, to say no to colonial masters. So the Mwango, I applaud her for actually allowing herself, or rather agreeing to just go to the Maroon community and show us this Maroon community and show us their way of life and share with us their day-to-day activities. Like that man was explaining to Dimango that they dance, they have a dance, they have their religion, they practice, they have their way of life, and that was very epic. And I thought that I should recommend Dimango for showing us the Maroon community. We appreciate that a lot. And now guys, I think this will be the end of the video. Thank you so much for continuing watching us, and be blessed.